For more comment, we're joined now by Mzwanele Manyi, Jacob Zuma Foundation Spokesperson, to shed more light on this. A very good evening to you, Mr. Manyi, and thank you so much for speaking to us. So, can you firstly confirm the credence and the content of these claims and reports? The interpretation is that it is implicating several of these organizations by the mere request that you're making, or the lawyers of the former president are making. Is this how you see things?
Yeah, firstly, let's just confirm that the letters that are flying around in the media, despite the unfortunate situation that they were leaked, but the truth of the matter is that they are factual letters, so there's no fake about them. That's the situation, and it's quite unfortunate to be getting the kind of response that I've just heard now from the DSG of the ANC, which is quite frankly quite disingenuous. Because what people do when they put together financial statements, they aggregate things. And for instance, it would be one line item that says 50 million from donors and so on. And for parliamentary purposes, Parliament is normally generally interested in the amount that was given by Parliament and how that money was spent. Now, to try and use the report submitted to Parliament as an explanation for the kind of inquiry that we're dealing with is really quite unfortunate and disingenuous, in fact, dishonest answer that the DSG has given. It's very, very, very regrettable to get this kind of an attitude. This is the biggest case of criminality in the land, and we should be getting all kinds of cooperation that can be had, so that the truth can be put to bear, so that people of South Africa are told the truth. All the transactions that have flown to these organizations must be laid to bear. Every line item must be explained. It could very well be that everything is legitimate, but the manner in which the DSG is responding is casting all kinds of aspersions and is increasing the level of suspicions that not all is above board. So we would call upon everyone that has received these letters to really cooperate with this inquiry, so that in Pietermaritzburg, the record can be set straight for all South Africans to know what really went down.
Okay. So to your mind, are you also saying, because we understand a response that you've also received, some of the relevant information that you're seeking was destroyed in a flood at the ANC headquarters, to your mind, are you also saying that this is disingenuous, that it's in a bid to hide information? And I'm also wondering about digitization within this period. I think we would have reached the area in which some things are electronic.
Yeah, look, the issues of the floods is quite an interesting one. If my memory serves me well, even during the time when the ANC was headquartered in Shell House, the office of the SG, I think was on the 9th floor. Not sure how floods can just specifically choose 9th floor. Even right now at Luthuli House, the office of the SG is on the 6th floor. So as to how floods can just skip all these floors and just target the 6th floor where all things are normally kept around the SG's office is quite hilarious on one hand, but on the other hand, quite sad that people can resort to such desperate measures of not being upfront with the truth. And this is very bad. The ANC has got a very strong brand, and people that are managing this brand need to make sure that they maintain the integrity of this brand. What is currently happening is really quite unfortunate, and we would call upon all those that hold the power to cooperate and make sure that they don't frustrate the ends of justice, because what is happening now is actually tantamount to defeating the ends of justice.
Okay.
We don't want to go into a situation where we have to subpoena these things, because, in fact, there is that avenue that can be used. And in fact, this is almost like hiding pregnancy. These transactions were electronic. So it's not difficult to go to the banks and ask the banks to assist here. So indeed, and that would be very embarrassing to be going that route. So we'd call upon all these organizations to please play ball and take the people of South Africa seriously and cooperate and submit these transactions.
Okay. Just the terminology that you use there, desperate measures, this is the characterization by some of former President Jacob Zuma's detractors by saying the timing of it all. Is it my understanding that you're seeking records between the years 1997 to 2005? So the questions are around why now?
You must remember that President Zuma was not just bored and decided out of his boredom to do this. This arises because the trial is now. The question is why is this trial only now? Because this comes out as a result of the trial. And you must remember that most of the delays in this trial were actually at the instance of the NPA itself. Mje, at one stage, one of the heads of NPA had dropped this charge, this case and all of that. And then later somebody else came and they reinstated the charge and all of this. So it's been going backwards and forwards, primarily because NPA has been undecided about what it wants to do. When it likes, it drops everything. When it likes, it postpones, it's got further investigations and all of that. So we're here now almost 20 years down the line, primarily because the NPA has been very sloppy, really, in its approach on this matter. And that's why we're here.
So, Mr. Manyi, the former president says what he really wants out of this is the truth to out and not necessarily to implicate the former president, Mandela, and others. What would the truth then look like when that information is released? Because we want to go beyond the speculation of what the objective of this is. What exactly is being sought? Proof of evidence of donations or proof that there was something untoward?
Yeah, look, the one thing that we would not want to do is to do trial by media. What we would request everyone to do is to respect the current court process and cooperate with it. It may very well be that after everything has been submitted, that everybody is as innocent as President Zuma saying he's innocent. Or maybe everybody is guilty, who knows? So the best thing is for all the information to be put on the table. The court must be given all the information that it requires to make a decision. You must remember, this is a criminal case, so the case must be proved beyond reasonable doubt. Now, if we have people here that are going to talk about floods, that are going to target floors that are so high up and leave all other basement floors and all of that, if you're going to have that kind of disingenuous responses, then clearly we are not about to get to proof beyond reasonable doubt.
All right.
And that is defeating the ends of justice. And we would call upon the ANC not to defeat the end of justice and must cooperate with the requirements of the court.
Quick and final question, maybe ask about the condition of former President Zuma post-surgery.
The lawyers were with him over the weekend and they've consulted with him. And they have not reported anything untoward. I think President Zuma is generally well. And we're looking forward to him appearing in court on the 9th of September in Pietermaritzburg. So indeed, we've got nothing to really worry about. He has gone through his procedures and is coming well, he's in good spirits. And we are looking forward to setting the record straight in Pietermaritzburg on the 9th of September.
All right, thank you so much for speaking to us. Mzwanele Manyi, spokesperson for the Jacob Zuma Foundation, basically saying that he's displeased with the response from the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC with regards to the request that they've made to the ANC in particular for those documents. And we'll just go through the timeline in just a moment. It is between 1997 and 2005, and there is a detailed request for this information. Say, for instance, they want to look at all foreign payments received by the ANC from any German or French-based defense companies between the period of 1997 to 2000, and saying that the former president isn't really looking for anything specific. It may be that the information that is then received shows that everything that was done is above board, or it may be that there is a case to answer in as much as the former president is saying he's innocent.